Yash, so we've done what it's like for 30 days, 90 days, 6 months. So now we're at a year. What happens when you're doing semen retention? I think you guys figured out by now, these aren't like benefits. What's the benefits of 30 days and 90 days and 6 months and a year? Like, I have playlists full of countless videos on benefits. And every video you see on YouTube pretty much is about benefits. So do you really want to hear more about benefits? Or do you want to hear what's really happening? Do you just start preserving your semen? Is this benefits? Is everywhere benefits? It's just not like that. People that say it is, either they're selling out somehow to try to get views because they think people don't want to hear the real truth, which I don't know how that's helpful for anybody, including the person making the video, or they're not aware of the consequences, or maybe they didn't have such a long-term addiction, or it didn't get so bad, or they don't have many withdrawals, and for them, they just think it's okay. Or they're not really doing it. That's the other thing. Maybe they relapse once in a while, but the mind justifies and says, oh, well, it's just a little bit. Don't count. I'm still streaking. Because it's like anytime we relapse, it resets kind of the process of this detox. The detox is the messy part. Now, at the same time, I have to say, because people get scared, they're like, oh no, I had 6 months and I relapsed. Did I lose everything? No, you don't lose everything, but I'm just saying, you know, like that saying, you 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or something like that. Relapse is part of the game, though. I'm going to make a video how relapse can make us stronger. So anyway, this series of when I'm saying what it's like for these different streaks, I'm more pointing out the so-called challenges or struggles or side effects like that. So if you want to see benefits, go look at the playlist. What's the playlist name? The Immense Benefits of Semen Retention or something? Just click on playlist. Okay, so 1 year. What happens? That's the other thing. Like if you just got like 9 months or a year, and then you start telling people what it's like to have a year, you don't really know yet. You got to have at least a couple years, a few years is better, to look back in retrospect so you can see everything from like a broader perspective. You're at like a higher vantage point. It's like if I'm climbing a mountain and I'm like almost to the top. Let's say I'm even at the top, and then I'm going to tell you what it's like at the top. Now, stay at the top for a little bit so then you can actually see what it's like. It's like I lived in Thailand for 5 years, and same with India, and I can tell you what it's like. Somebody that goes there for 2 weeks or something, they think they know what it's like, but you don't know. You got to like be there, and then you see all the subtle things, and then maybe you're qualified to give an opinion about it or a more accurate report. You see what I mean? So at a year, I can tell you there's all these factors. It just depends, It's like, so I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be like because we're all individuals. And some of us are like still edging, and some of us maybe are doing we're still addicted to the female attraction, so we're getting dopamine hits from that. So it's different if you say like a year and I haven't done any dopamine stimulation at all. Nobody does that though. That you're just lying. Because let's say you're not getting, somebody says, yeah, I'm not getting any dopamine hits at all in the sexual arena. I'm a heterosexual male, and I'm in an ashram and it's all guys. And we meditate all the time, and I'm not, you're going to probably have fantasies. Let's say you didn't even do that. Maybe then, I've said before, there's always a market outside of ourselves to try to get some fix if we don't realize who we are in essence. You got to see my spiritual channel for that. So then maybe somebody, let's say you're not doing anything sexual. Well, maybe you're using food. Maybe you're browsing on the internet. You're getting hits just from scrolling. Maybe you're obsessed with making money. Overworking something. That becomes your new fix. So there's all these factors. When I speak about what it's like 1 year semen retention, I got to give it's just going to be a general thing, because like I said, it's super individual. So generally speaking, I can say if one hasn't done any PMO, the urges to do this is going to be less, because you got a year under your belt. Like you haven't energized that habit or pattern that says go look at the internet, go masturbate. Like you haven't done that. So obviously, it's going to go down. It's like if you quit smoking weed, maybe the first 30 days, 90 days, it can be challenging. Like a strong obsession, compulsion to do that can come. Once you got, a year or more, it's like those things come less. It's like it's that habit, that little entity, addiction, has dissolved because we haven't energized it. So it's going to be less. The pull to do it is just going to be less. And same with the semen retention, the PMO thing. It's just going to be less. And when it comes, it's not going to come backed with so much force. The obsession isn't going to be like overpowering to where you just can't help it. You'll be like the consequence, like somebody could be here with a gun and say, if you do that, I'm going to kill you. And you'd be like, I can't help it. That's I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying, we know what that strong, obsessive, compulsive urge is when it's backed with all this power. That's why I say also to the people, go to spa meetings online, Sex Porn Addicts Anonymous, because you're in a fellowship, in a group where people are all they're at different levels. Some are struggling like you, some have made it, so whatever. So you get that nice support and you get to see each other on camera, etc. I don't really go much, but I'm always a proponent of 12-step programs that can help accelerate your journey, whether we're talking about quitting PMO or quitting food addiction or weed or alcohol, whatever. Use these tools. Why are you going to try to do it all yourself? Even if you can, you'd be more happy if you can use some of these tools that God put on the planet, right? So the urge will be less, and the urge will be backed with less energy if you get a year under your belt. The main thing, though, from my experience and others that I've worked with, is complacency. You see, we don't roast these seeds of the sexual tendency in 1 year. They don't get roasted. We're talking about deep biological seeds and tendencies. Okay? And I also said usually some of us are still edging, or we're still playing with the girls somehow and flirting and all that. That keeps it alive. That's okay. Don't try to roast the seeds. Grace will roast the seeds when it's time for the seeds to be roasted. But what I'm trying to say, my point, is those seeds are still there, like trying to wait for some fertile soil to sprout. Okay, so the mind function that works on behalf of the addiction, it's like the addiction appointed a part of the mind is like, work for me. Here, I'll hook you out. Here's $1,000. I need you to get him to go engage in this habit again because I'm hungry. It's like the addiction's been fasting now for, a year, but it's badass. So it can, it can keep going, but it wants some food. So it tells the mind, get him to. What do we got to do now to get him to relapse? Now he's already got a year. I haven't eaten. This is what addiction's saying. I haven't eaten, so I can't come with a strong, forceful thought with a lot of energy behind it because I'm kind of weak. I need to eat. So how do we get him? The mind's like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna get him. So the mind starts saying, hey man, you got a year. Like, you're cool now. You got this. Once you just dabble a little bit, just dabble, be a dabbler. Look at a little porn, touch yourself, get yourself aroused, but just don't ejaculate. You can just lock it. Get to like 90% and lock it. And besides, look at the Taoist people. They say do it. Mantak Chia, whoa, he's a proponent of it. That's a joke. How can he say that to the collective majority of people? I mean, does he not know that, like, that's just gonna accentuate one's addiction? I mean, you think you can tell that to 20 and 30-year-olds who are the only people really attracted to what he's saying? You think there's not going to be consequences? Does he not know that, or is he just like, hey, he's making a lot of money, or a combination of both? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying. So the mind will try to use that. It'll be like, get yourself a little dopamine hit, man. You're not gonna go all the way back into PMO. I mean, come on, you got a year. Or go play with the girls a little bit outside. Don't don't be gay if you're heterosexual. And so it starts working on you like that, and you start dabbling. But what happens then? You start feeding the addiction. Remember, the entity was fasting. He wasn't getting any food. Now you're breaking him off a little food. The more you do it, he's getting more food. Then what? He gets more strong. Now he can come with the stronger obsessive thought, and he has more energy behind it. It's like he can just grab you. Hey, go watch PMO. Okay. That's what starts the process. We start losing our strength. Our inner strength starts getting sapped little by little by little. We start feeding this addiction. Addiction gets stronger, inner strength gets weaker, and it could take a few years, for that process. But this addiction's patient. It'll wait because it wants to survive. And if that's its only move to make, then it'll wait. What did the devil say to Jesus in the Bible? At least this is what the Bible said. Jesus was hungry too. Remember, he was fasting 40 days. And devil came. He's like, bro, come on, man. Like, you did good. God's happy with you. Like, no need to keep going. In fact, I'm paraphrasing. In fact, you stop now. Devil had some power too. Devil's not weak. You can say negative force, whatever. Devil, okay. Just names. I'm going to give you anything you want, man. You want to manifest? I'm the manifester. I run this whole superficial, surface level world, material world. So, yeah, you're talking to the right person if you want to manifest. I can give you anything you want. I just give it to you, just like that. All you got to do is just snap out of this this thing you're in. Like, you want to fast and find God. Like, you already got God. God's cool. Now, what do you want? Now that you got God, like, what do you want? Don't you want something? And what did Jesus said something like, he didn't fall for it. Even as weak as he was, he's like, bro, get behind me, man. I'm dialed in. Like, I'm not tripping on your voice. And then what did the devil say? This is the point of the story. It said the devil left him for a more opportune time. He's like, okay, I'm going to come visit you again, maybe when you're doing another fast or a longer fast or you're weaker or something. I'm going to get you again. So it doesn't stop. This is the play of life. These addictions don't really get, especially something like this, when it's biologically rooted. You can always kind of fall back into that if you're not smart, if you don't maintain some level of vigilance. See, what do they say? Don't rest on your laurels. Don't get complacent. So you be aware of that. That's the whole point of me sharing this. You be aware of that. At the same time, if you fall for it and make a mistake, like, okay. I had over a year when I was 21 or 3 or something. And I was in Brazil and I went to a massage parlor and I was just floored. These girls were just so happy and nice and they just weren't on drugs. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I was going to try to lock it, but I couldn't help it, man. And I felt like the life got sucked out of me like a vampire, and it really spasmed my nervous system. See, when we orgasm, it spasms your nervous system. Can you feel it? It's a spasm, right? So when we're doing that all the time, it's not good. Not good for your nervous system. And if you've went long enough and you haven't, you had a long streak and then you orgasm and spasm, you're gonna feel the contrast more than somebody who is losing it all the time. Now, there's some people that say, man, I lost it and I felt really great. Yeah, I have too. There's been other times I had a year or 2 years and I lost it. See, we don't know. There's no standard. Either one can happen. What I'm saying is it can turn into a habit. You lose it once, maybe you don't want to lose it again. Then you're like, man, I'm good. And then we don't know. Then all of a sudden you're back into this like dark, heavy world. It's like it just hits you. You thought you were going good. And it's like, you know. But see, this is personal, individual experience one has to experience for themselves. Like, I can't IV that to you. Well, does it do any good even me talking to you about it? Yeah, somehow. Somehow. I feel it can accelerate your process, and also it aligns with your own higher spiritual tendencies that you have, your true knowledge. Because you're hearing your own self saying what you already know, but yet maybe you're in a stage where you can't really hear it. It's like that. This is the whole purpose of making videos. The other thing is, I made a video on pause, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. We can have, you see, it depends. How long have you been doing this? Have you been doing this for several years or decades to where you just wrecked your nervous system? Or even if you've been doing it a few years, have you been doing it all day, all night, every day? See, that causes damage. The nervous system can recuperate though. The body has amazing recuperative powers. But so it could take a few years. So see those videos if you want to know more about that. But my point for saying that here is just because you got a year don't mean like everything's going to be smooth sailing now. This stuff can still come. You can still have like the mood swings, anxiety, not be able to sleep, or you can just feel low. You got to listen to your deeper inner self and hear what it's telling you. Is it telling you the answer is to go ahead and relapse because then you'll feel better? The only reason you might feel better for a short time is because you're getting a dopamine hit. So it's like, okay, cool. But then you lose that. Then you need to do it again. And next thing you know, you're doing it every day again. Or so you listen to that voice, or you listen to your deeper self, or your deeper self speaking through videos and books that's telling you don't succumb to that voice. You keep going, and at some point there's going to be some semblance of balance that's restored in your bodily system and nervous system. I can't give anyone the power to make that choice. It's an individual journey. Something inside you just have to make that choice. I don't know. Grace makes the choice, actually. I can't even take responsibility for making the choice. It's just, I don't know. Life's like that. It's very complex. Can't figure anything out. We can go even more deeper and say, okay, no, that's spiritual channel stuff. Let's see if I missed anything. See, I always hit everything, even though I make the notes, but it's cool. It's still good, I think, I make the notes. So, yeah, in summary, having a year, for me, my struggles with that was that I had the tendency to lust and edge more and play with girls more. Something was missing that dopamine hit. And the mind was making me think, like, I'm bored. Like this is boring. Like, what do you mean? Like, I already went a year. I'm not doing these behavior. Like, what am I going to just waste my life? You waste your life if you do it. The mind says the opposite. Like, I'm missing out on something, These are all things you got to catch. You just got to catch them, and you will. You'll catch them, and then you'll make the higher decision inside yourself. But sometimes, for a while, we got to make the lower decision. So because then it gives us contrast. We know the difference. It's like, oh, that's the lower voice talking. No, I'm not going to do that again. I've already done it a million times. Why got to keep doing it? Let's go with the higher voice for a while and see what happens. And the highest attitude? You surrender this whole process and you say, you know what? If I struggle, I live to 80 years old and I'm still not able to put any streak together, don't matter. I'm still going to try over and over and over again. This is the highest. And then paradoxically, if that's a real authentic feeling you have, grace is going to help you. You got to surrender the relapse, and you got to surrender your progress. Don't take personal credit like, yeah, I got it now. No, give any success you have, give it to the universe, and then you're good. Because if you think you did something, see, human beings are very weak and limited compared to the, there's always bugs out here, compared to the universal, you can say, energy or life force that created the human being. What would you rather have? Would you rather use universal energy or your little human energy? Human energy is going to fail you at some point. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, be less self-reliant and more God-reliant. Whatever that means to you, though. See, that's why God put so many different religions, spiritual practices to appeal to so many different temperaments and characters and stages. But the point of all that, the truth that applies to everybody, is find something greater than you, surrender to that, have a relationship with it, and you're going to be good. Even when you're not good, you're good. All right, let me know. That's a long video. See you.